Good morning. I'm very excited to be here. I've been here before. It's my second time. Regional VP for Ultrix, Middle East and Africa, and Greece. So I managed to keep Greece as part of my territory because I love being here. Today, I'm going to tell you more about our company, our mission. How many of you, first of all, have heard of Ultrix before? Okay. That's good. Just to get a feel of the audience, are you business leaders making decisions? Are you folks that work with data, creating insights and reports? Okay. Are you finding that to get to the data, to answer your business questions is very much time consuming? Do you want to do it faster? Great, I'm in the right place. Okay, so Alteryx is really changing the way you do analytics today. I know the Alteryx word has been mentioned quite a lot by KPMG and WITSIDE, and I also want to say thank you for the opportunity to be here. Today we're announcing the partnership with WITSIDE in Greece and the region. So Ultrix and why Ultrix, why here, why now? So if you look at the numbers here, is that starting with the 94%, I've still yet to come across a company that has the data that they need in one single place. Only maybe 6% of organizations say that they have one single source for data. I was in South Africa a couple of weeks ago, and I've seen a bank doing exciting things with our platform because they wanted to actually crawl news information to see if any of the customer names that they have been involved in fraud. Are they in the news? If they are, they need to alert, the right people within the bank. Those use cases, so that data source is actually not within the organization itself. So we're seeing, to build a customer view, to really build to a complete view of your business, not only you need your internal data, but external data and third-party data that you could work with. So when we survey organizations, 64% say that they need information more than 5 different sources. So it becomes really complex to answer the business questions faster. You're spending more time trying to get to the data, more time to find the right data, yet alone trying to bring that data together in a meaningful way before you even go into the advanced analytics. So that's why 37 to 40% of the time is just wasted trying to work with the data or find the right data. What's really interesting is looking at the number 28% is that we've seen a lot of companies, they spend a lot of their time building a report other than sharing it via maybe a dashboard. Still, we see a lot of Excel files being used and emails being emailed around to actually help teams share the information, share the knowledge together. And in every organization that I've been with, or customers or potential customers, Excel is still being used quite a lot, quite heavily, even in financial services where, maybe it's very critical to know whether the answer is the right answer. How do you actually go audit and trail? I'm going to mention KPMG. So KPMG is one of our largest clients globally, and I was with one of the partners in London, and he's responsible for the mergers and acquisitions, and they built a practice on Ultrix, and I asked him why Ultrix, and what's interesting is they said with Ultrix we can challenge CFOs, CEOs' own understanding of their business with data, because you can actually get to the answers faster, you can actually bring data from different sources, so you can actually start moving away from gut feel to more data-driven organization. How many of you here think that your organization is data-driven? Okay. I'd love to talk to you later. So if you... What I see quite a lot of, probably you'll find yourself in this room, in this kind of category, that most of the time, if you look at the analysts, I'm talking, an analyst doesn't have to have an analyst title. It could be a sales operation, an inventory manager, a brand manager, a digital person, people in sales and marketing, finance, HR, trying to make sense of your data. You're spending probably 60% of your time trying to do the data integration. And that's kind of the least business value. You're spending a lot of the time trying to bring the data together, and then 30% of your time to create a report, And by the time you do that report, you're going to have to start all over again. I was with a bank in Luxembourg, and they have a team that their job is to create asset performance reporting, regulatory reporting for the biggest corporate clients. And they have about 75 people in that team. And every single analyst manages 1 or 2 major clients. And they spend 5 weeks to get to a monthly report. So it's too late. 5 weeks to get monthly reports. In Excel, I've actually seen they've created a 20-page Word document to explain how they're building the Excel macros that nobody else understands anyway, right? 100 plus Excel tabs, millions of rows of data. But again, by the time they create the report, 1, it's a week late, and 2, they have to start all over again. You know, that's massive inefficiency. And also, I always think about, you know, we're all here in business. I'm a believer is to delight customers, right? We're here to serve a customer. We're here to answer their questions, better serve them. And the better serve the customer is really to better understand them. So you need that information really fast. You need information right now. So giving you that example is another research in ITC. The numbers says it all. This was done for Europe, by the way. 6 billion euros in wastage. That's just folks working, organizations doing analytics in Excel. Repetitive working. By the way, I don't have issues with Excel. As Ultrix, we're not here to say Excel is bad. That's not the message, right? What we think is there should be a better way, a faster way, a more governed way, and a more auditable way. So a key thing, like the folks, the likes of KPMG that use the Ultrix, again, sitting with the users. What I hear quite a lot of Ultrix, we'll show you later in the platform, I can actually be sure about the answer. I can actually go step by step, know where my data is coming from, know what I'm doing with the data, what tables, what kind of transformation I'm doing. And more importantly, once you automate all this mundane work that you're doing manually, then you free up time to do more valuable work. Ultimately, you know, we see organizations move from basic reporting to free up. I've seen organizations maybe automate about 80% of the work. 80% of the work that you do today could be automated in Alteryx. That doesn't mean your job is at risk. What it means is it's going to free up more time for you to do different things. Give you an example later about Dubai airports to give you an example how they use Alteryx for one job, and then they move to solve more than 8 to 9 different use cases in one platform. We talked, I think there was a lot, I don't understand in Greek, but obviously I was hearing data scientists and citizen data scientists. Again, if you look at a lot of Gartner's surveys, and what we're seeing is that there's a lot of increase in the R and Python and coders or some legacy data scientist tools out there in the market, yet 30% of these models are being deployed. Again, I'll tell you a story. I was with a retail customer 2 weeks ago in Dubai, and one of the largest retailers, more than 20 different countries they operate in, they have a problem. They have one data scientist that knows R. He's built an inventory optimization model. They have 75 brands. Each brand have 75 different analysts and sub-analysts and different teams, but nobody understands R but him. So he spends his day building R models and churn and upselling, cross-selling, all these models that nobody else understands in the business. So we'll talk today about how you can actually drive a collaborative way within the business. How can you have a common language between, or a platform where people can collaborate on, whether you know SAS, R, Python, SQL, you know Excel, macros, you'll have a single platform where you can collaborate on. And ultimately the goal is to help you drive business decisions based on data very fast, and obviously increase this. At the end of the day, what's the point of having data scientists if only 13% of the work is being used? Again, some of the numbers you've already seen, but if you look at the number of actual data scientists, so this is comparison 2015 to 2025, actual data scientists about 1 million, probably gonna double in the 10-year period. But if you look at the citizen data scientists, which are the advanced Excel users or people that know SQL, that's going to be in 50 plus million, right? And this is what Gartner is talking about. Those people are going to be producing more models than the actual data scientists. But the question is today, and the challenge today is, what tools do they have available to them? Not many. Simply not many. And the ability to actually to drive collaboration between, you know, the data scientists, the core data scientists, to the citizen data scientists is very limited, because the citizen data scientists don't necessarily know code, they don't know R, they don't know Python. So we're going to talk to you today about how you can actually drive that collaboration in our platform. This is what I call the legacy way. So again, one of the pension funds that, well, I worked with and my team worked with in the Netherlands, and what they do is they were the largest pension provider in the country. They had, so if you look at the analytical journey today, and I think it's relevant to almost every single company out there, you have the IT folks managing the data, acquiring the data. They're probably doing the ETL work. And then you have people in the business, they'll go to IT and say, hey, I need that information on my customer. So the IT person will extract that data, give it back to the business user. Then they might have somebody, in the business or the organization that they're GIS or spatial specialists. So you have to go to them to understand, okay, can you put these customers on the map? Maybe I'm a retailer, I want to open a new store, I want to know what's the catchment area, you know, what kind of demographics are in that area, does it actually make sense for me to open in this street versus that street, or where are my competitors on a map? These questions are really important. And then you'll have data scientists that building maybe a churn model or a predictive analytics model, whatever you're trying to predict. So again, that's a different team. And then you have IT, DevOps. So let's say your data scientist built a model and you want to deploy it on your website. You have to go to DevOps, and that could take anything we've seen 6 to 12 months, 24 months to actually take that model into production. So again, very fragmented process, very fragmented, different teams doing different things. Ultimately, the goal is one thing, but they're not talking to each other. The time to get to that answer is very long. And one of the examples I always use is I was with a large electronics retailer, and I was sitting with the head of CRM analytics, and I had the BI manager in the room. So they have Cognos as they go to kind of reporting engine. They also have Click and Power BI and some other tools in the business. But how they work today, you have the CRM people. They go to the head of BI who manages Oracle tools and other systems. They say, we need this information on our customer. They dump that information on SQL server, and then the CRM people start doing some Excel work, SQL work, visualization work. It takes a lot of time. One specific example is when the chief operating officer actually knocked on the head of CRM door and said, we're launching the new iPhone. Can you tell me how did we do per segment? How did we do on attachment rates? What were the most profitable products by segment, by location? How many of our customers bought online versus actually offline in our stores? How can we increase that? So all these questions became, you know, all of a sudden really relevant to the C-level, but the CRM team actually was struggling. And they told the CEO it's going to take us 3 to 4 weeks to actually respond to you with all these answers. But the meeting is happening in 3 days. And so the idea of Ultrix, really, we say alter everything. So being able to empower your people in the business, whether you're an analyst or whether you're an IT, you would love Ultrix. You data scientists, you will love Ultrix. The idea is to help you to get to any data very quickly, be able to capture that data, clean, prepare, and share it in any way that you want. So the Ultrix self-service model, sometimes I don't like to use self-service because it maybe sends a wrong message. One of the customers we work with called Ultrix as the Insights or Analytics Accelerator. So you can actually accelerate the time to delivery, and you actually, the go-to-market, you can accelerate the way you respond to business questions. So what really is data-driven? Data-driven is having people in the business making decisions off data. That doesn't mean just the actual analyst or the data scientist. I've seen organizations have built apps on our platform to actually create applications for call center agents. So when a customer calls in, they have a Ultrix powered app by machine learning models. I put in my customer ID or as an agent, and it recommends a product. Am I likely to churn or not? I'm a VIP customer or not? You know, all this kind of becomes possible. So you can actually take information and share it. For us, we believe knowledge or insights about sharing. It's not just about just creating it. It's who you're sharing it with, who's using it, how you're looking to actually, you know, service your customers or enable your business people to be able to actually make decisions off data and move away from gut feel or this is how we used to do it over the last 20 years. So again, you'll see later in the platform, so all this fragmented process, it becomes all possible in one place. One of the organizations we work with, a large bank, and they have a customer insight team. Their job is to create reports and insights on product launches, product releases to multiple functions, multiple departments, multiple products. They also advise, the loans department on which customers are likely to default so they can intervene early before it's too late. And they used to have this legacy approach. Again, working with IT, a data science team, analysts, different teams to kind of get to that one answer. We work with them on what we call an enablement program. So I guess for you guys here, I want you to also, and ladies, I want you to understand how we actually work. I don't think we are a typical software vendor. The reason I say that, because I would say half of our time that we spend with customers is actually through training and enablement. So what we've done with this bank is we give them access to the software, and we give them also to a lot of training. So we actually go on site. So this is what we'll do here. We'll go with WITSIDE on site and help you build your model, help you take a process that's taking so long to be able to actually automate it in Ultrix, and that's how we do it. And what's interesting, then we compared, after 6 months, we compared the previous way, the legacy way, and the Ultrix way. They said it used to take a new analyst about 6 months to be able to be productive and deliver business value. With Ultrix, for them a new analyst to learn Ultrix and be able to produce business value to the business is down to 3 weeks. So imagine what you can do in 3 weeks. Just to give you an idea, later we'll do a demo, but at least here you kind of understand what you're talking about. So the process here is very visual, and again, it's logical. So you have multiple input tools, so you can connect to APIs, you can connect to websites, you can crawl data. I've seen organizations connect to, if you're to competitors, to any site, you can crawl that, bring that information in, and then we have more than 250 plus tools. So I would call Ultrix as a Swiss knife for analytics, or be able to drag and drop and build a model. What's interesting here is you can also document the process. So you can actually collaborate. If you're on holiday, if you go away, somebody else wants to see how you've done it, they can actually understand. And again, you start moving into more advanced analytics, enriching the data. You can connect to pre-built models on R or Python in Ultrix, drag and drop. If you have R and Python coders, we have tools in Ultrix where they can actually, build the R code in Ultrix as part of the process. And then the way you share it, obviously you can share it in any way possible. So any data source you read in, you can also output to. So I've seen organizations share Ultrix, to dashboards. You can write back to a database, a data warehouse, or an API. So one of the airlines we work with, they use Ultrix to automate the email engagement. So be able to actually offer personalized offering based on the customer profile and engagement. So there's really no limit to how you want to use the platform. And what we say here is code-free, is that you don't need to code. I'll share some use cases later on, but one of the users, we worked again in a bank. Her background is music degree. and she works in the back office team. Her job is to report on risk and on the transactions. She's an amazing Excel user, but she used to have to wait on specialist teams or data scientists to be able to actually do some more advanced analytics, and now she can do it herself in Ultrix. I mean, there's a video on our website on how she uses Ultrix herself. But again, going back to the point that there's the citizen data scientist, how do we actually drive more people in the organization who are really, they are close to the business, they're close to the business challenge, the business questions, to help them to do more with data than what they've ever imagined to do without having to go and do a complete data science degree. And I think the core thing about Ultrix, if you look at Gartner and how they position Ultrix and why Ultrix, and from my experience with thousands of customers, I'd say it's two things. One, ease of use. So you have a platform, it's very easy to use, very easy to learn and deploy. And you have a platform that allows you to do all the end-to-end process, from the data acquisition, data preparation, advanced modeling, predictive modeling, and to sharing it across the organization. I think ultimately that's really the most two important things you'll find in the platform. And again, as I said before, it's code friendly. So if you have, I've seen organizations that they've built a forecasting model, and then the tool here you see in Ultrix, you could package and you can start adding your own tools. So one of the largest organizations in banking sector, they have about 200 data scientists. They use Ultrix to create their own tools. I think we also work with, in fact, KPMG in one of the practice, the automotive practice in Germany. They've built tools on Ultrix for continuous auditing. So you can just drag and drop. So not only you create a new way, a new thinking, a new process, you can actually retain it. It's not a black box solution anymore. And then non-core data scientists can actually use the model that you've created. Because there's a lot of talk about predictive. There's a lot of talk about moving away from just reporting and knowing what happened yesterday. But then again, how do you, going back to the 13%, only 13% of models being deployed, because there's no way to actually collaborate between the scientists, data scientists and non-data scientists. So we can help with that. And again, that's the whole journey is with Ultrix. Again, the power of one platform is to be able to do everything in one place. And as you start solving the more basic use cases, there's no magic. Or people talk a lot about AI and machine learning, and I think before getting to the basics, which is actually having the right data, the clean data, and all the data that you need. So the data pipeline is really important, and this is where we actually help organizations move across this ladder. I'm not going to go into the product set, but more of how we can help. So let's say you're Click users or whatever tools you use. What you can do is you can actually start using Alteryx to search how many Click dashboards are being deployed, what kind of analysis, what data, do the data lineage, who's using it. Actually build a social search analytical engine. So people that say, let's say you're a global organization, you have multiple offices, if somebody built a churn model or a dashboard, then you can Google search it within Ultrix and actually see how other people are using the information. Maybe you can actually see, is this asset classified as, IT approved? Is this something, then you can download it. So it kind of encouraged the collaboration and social sharing around, analytics. You can also, with Ultrix, as we discussed, you go through prep and blend. We talked through that. Build the models, analyze the models. You can deploy models very quickly through one of products and promote. So you can deploy it on your websites, across enterprise applications within a day or two, and be able to actually really drive that more analytics culture. And now, I would say the biggest challenge I find when organizations trying to adopt a data-driven culture is the people, really. It's not about it's got nothing to do with the technology. It's about how you drive change, how you drive processes. I don't have a slide on that, but maybe I'll talk to you a little bit more on that. So, because I think it's really important. It's more important than anything else. The reason is, what I've seen historically is that regardless where the decision is made, IT or non-IT, somebody might say, this is the right technology for us, we're going to deploy enterprise-wide, but then maybe the business not being involved. So again, the adoption, it might cause some friction. People say, why do we need this? We haven't tried it, we haven't tested it. So where I've seen organizations that deployed successful analytics, advanced analytics, AI projects or machine learning is by involving the multiple stakeholders. I'll give you an example. I worked with, my team worked with another large holding group. They have multiple businesses from retail, finance, real estate, insurance. The IT team was struggling with the load when it comes to the business users, whether sales, operations, finance, digital marketing, asking for data, right? They have a visualization layer, they have SaaS, they have every single technology you can imagine. They have talent, they have Informatica, but the business, the IT is struggling to actually focus on, they have a big data lake project and a cloud project, but most of the time, 50 to 60% of the time, they're spending is just giving out data to the business through CSVs or Excel files. Now, they wanted to change that, but they were also worried that they go with a tool that nobody else is going to use, because then the problem is kind of outsourced, or it's just going to come back again. Now, what they've done and how we help them is what we call through an adoption program. So in fact, we took a 6 months approach. We say, let's identify, okay, what business problem they're trying to solve with data. Let's find the power users who's going to be the data workers. Let's get a business sponsor. I think it's really key to get a business sponsor involved who would, because you always want to articulate the why. Why are you doing this? You know, is it going to increase the revenue? Is it going to drive costs down? If not, then probably you're going to struggle to sell it internally. And I think what we've done there is we started to create this school of analytics, or what we call the data workhouse. So people come in, you know, we train them, we help them, they go back to their desk, they spend another week or two trying to solve a new business problem or automate a process, and then repeat. And we deliver about 120 hours in 6 months in training and enablement. And what that did is he actually changed the way the business and IT work together. So business and IT started to work collaboratively together. The IT folks use Ultrix to actually build connectors for the business user. And then the business user can actually start asking more questions of the data. And I guess if you go back to experimentation, I think experimentation is key. You're not going to innovate. No new medicine has been announced without maybe years of experimentation. With Ultrix, we give you the ability, or the analyst, to actually experiment, try, test, and fail quickly. And I think it's really important, because one of the organizations we work with is Nike and their e-commerce and supply chain excellence team. They said with Ultrix, we can try, test, and fail quickly. So if you take theory, let's test it, connect the data, play with it, and see the outcome very quickly. Then you know if it works or not. What that encourages really is encourages yourself or your employees, if you are leaders in an organization, to actually think differently, try new things, ask new questions. I've heard organizations say, you know, before Alteryx, we've given up on projects, or we've given up on questions that are relevant to the business we couldn't answer before because we didn't have the time. So that's kind of what you'll start seeing. And I think engagement is important, how you can bring different people in the business together, ultimately to allow them to do more and to be able to share and have this quick win. So I've even seen organizations that give monetary awards, you know, for people that are actually creating new insights and information with data. And lastly, I want to talk about the community. So there's no point of having a great platform without community around it. I'm hearing from customers or even trial users, they post a question, within an hour they get an answer from another customer or partner around the world. I think it's really important, because you be part of a community of people who are altering the status quo, altering the way you do analytics, altering the way maybe you respond to the business question. If there's one or two things I want you to take from today, is try. You know, if you've given up on something, try doing it with Ultrix, go into the community and learn how other people are doing it. So we're not Ultrix. We've got successes across sectors because I think really data is relevant to any sector, any size, any country. So I've been to Mozambique, to Kenya, to Athens, to Lebanon, to Dubai, Saudi Arabia. Every single customer or company I see, I don't think they're any different. The languages are different, but everybody is trying to drive more sales, better understand customers, and be more efficient, and then you really drive a more data-driven culture. Now, couple of use cases, just to give you a sense and a taste, the feeling that I didn't practice that, but the taste of how Alteryx is being used. So if you look at Coca-Cola, for example, one of the challenges for them is how they actually service the franchise business. They have a central analytics team, and their job is to help the franchisee to predict how many of the Coca-Cola products they're going to sell. So it's a typical use case for inventory manager. How many of you here are in retail? Okay, quite a few. So the process, again, it used to be time-consuming, a lot of Excel work, SQL coding, and then with Ultrix, in less than 1 minute to prototype. We're talking here about millions and millions of rows of data. They also have they have those digital machines. I don't know if they have them here, but in a lot of places in the world, you go to a lot of the shops. There's like a digital machine, Coca-Cola. You mix up the different flavors. It will come up with a more personalized drink for you. So they use Ultrix at the back end, to actually analyze all the interactions and actually predict which flavors they should be using next, and what's the kind of flavors that customers are really combining together, which are actually feeding into the R&D function that they're doing. So there's a lot of interesting things they're doing with Ultrix, from inventory management. They also do the predictive maintenance for these machines in Ultrix. I can also think of so many organizations. I'll talk about Shell later, but I've seen airlines, for example. I've seen mining companies predicting a week in advance with 95% accuracy in our platform which machines are likely to fail. And these are critical machinery. If they fail, this is going to cost them millions and millions of dollars. So again, we're not changing. Data science has been there forever. We're not changing that. What we're changing is how you do it and the platform that you do it with. Is the ease of use, easy to learn, easy to deploy. It allows you to actually do all these use cases in one go. Another customer we work with who moved from the data blending to more advanced analytics is Dubai Airport. So we started working with them in the finance team. How many of you here are in finance? Okay. Excel. They had 4 people doing monthly reporting, spending a week each just to create this monthly report. Now this report is almost automated. It runs in 5 minutes. Now, what Dubai Airport say is with Ultrix, Ultrix increased their workload, right? So what does that mean? I'm like, okay, what do you mean? Like, you more stressed now? Like, no, we actually love what we do more because we actually do more valuable work. Capacity planning, queue management. So when you go into Dubai Airport, they bring the data from the airlines, from all sort of relevant data. They can actually forecast every 15 minutes in Ultrix how many passengers are going to go through passport control to deploy the right amount of resources. They report that to the police, the immigration office, etc. Dubai tourism as well, actually. I don't have that on the slide. We know Dubai is a great tourist destination. They use Ultrix to predict the number of tourists coming into the country. And I met them last week, and I said, actually, why Ultrix? Because they have people that know R and Python, SQL, SAS, and other tools. They said, that's exactly why, Abboud, because with your platform, people that know SAS can use Ultrix, people that know R and Python use Ultrix, Excel can use Ultrix. So the benefit here is that you can actually drive a real collaboration between your thinkers, between the people within the business to do that. Again, you'll see here more and more examples of people that taking process that were taking days to encode and 10 minutes to produce. You can automate sentiment analysis. Dubai Airports were about to buy a separate product for sentiment analysis, but then they realized they could connect Ultrix to a Google API engine for NLP and plug in all the survey data and do text analytics in Ultrix and have that all up to date. So the idea of Ultrix is a platform, it's not a product. What I mean by platform is a place where you can actually create a product. So we've seen organizations create different products on different CRM systems. You can build connectors. If you're in IT, you can build connectors for SAP or HANA or Hadoop, you name it, and then let the business do what they do best, is the thinking, the experimentation. So it brings you that kind of ability to collaborate, enrich, to govern, and then give the business a platform that they can actually innovate, start thinking more. How much time I have left? 1 minute? Okay. So 1 minute final use case. I think Shell, and you can find that. I would recommend actually you Google Shell Ultrix. There's some press releases and some presentations there. But what's interesting here again is as you move to more advanced analytic use cases, is going back to the point you have people that know R and Python. In fact, how many here know R or Python? Okay, great. So I want you to think of a model that you've built in R, how you can actually share it, how you can turn that model to an actual application that I would use. I'm a lead for the country, for my region. You might build a model of what's the next new country we should take Ultrix to. You can have that in thousands of lines of code that I wouldn't be able to understand. But you can create that as an app, and this is what Shell are doing. This is what Southwest Airlines actually are doing as well. So with Shell, they take all the information, all the IoT, there's low mention IoT, the sensors data globally, plug it into Ultrix and be able to predict and send SMS alerts to engineers on site. So that's just one of the use cases. They also do inventory management. They also build reports for the salespeople who are selling at corporate level for upselling, cross-selling opportunities. So with Ultrix, they kind of build and other tools, of course. They've built a center of excellence around analytics that goes around the business and say, what's your analytical need? How do you want to transform your decision-making with data? And they've built applications powered by Ultrix that non-data scientists, not even non-analysts can use. We've seen organizations build an iPad apps with Ultrix powered by the machine learning or AI engine. Simply for the salespeople on site, say, okay, I'm within this radius in Athens. I'm looking at this customer based on maybe all the information I have on this customer, which other customers I should visit today within maybe a 10, 15-minute drive. Because with Alteryx, you can bring in Google Maps data, drive time data, customer data, CRM data, maybe your email campaign data to see how you're interacting with your customers. So there are more use cases I can discuss. I'm here later. I think I'm between you and the coffee break, so I should stop right now because I can see that you definitely need a coffee. And later for lunch. And again, what I love about the company, maybe tell you a short story if I may. I had my own consulting company before I joined Ultrix, and it was all around, had people that know R, and we were building models in R and Python and KNIME, and then I came across Ultrix myself and actually decided to join Ultrix before they open up in Europe and build our European business. What I love about this platform is you as users and potential users, you'll actually get emotional. It sounds maybe weird, but when I joined the company, I used to go and see customers and say they're actually excited. I was at an event in the US, and one of the customers came on stage, oil and gas company, and the gentleman was about to retire. He retired, he sat with his wife, and he said, okay, I've done my bit, now I need to enjoy my life. And he was at an event, and we were there, and he came across Ultrix, downloaded a trial, then he pulled his resignation out. And it was a mind-blowing use case or a story, and I actually got to meet him, and I said, why did you do that? He said, well, I thought I've done it all, then I came across Ultrix and realized I can actually do more. And he actually went on to head the Center of Excellence for that group in terms of analytics and predictive modeling. So what I would say, I really encourage you to download the software, play with it. There's a lot of information online. You've got WITSIDE here to help you and alter the way you do analytics today. That's simply it. And I think within a week or two, you'll know if this is the right thing for you or not. So we're not talking here about 6 months costly POC that might not add any value. So thank you so much. Coffee, tea time, cake time. And come and talk to me. I love to get to know you more and maybe answer your questions or give you more examples. But I appreciate you listening to me and for being here. Thank you.